Hey everybody, just wanted to let you know before the episode starts, this is going to be part one of a two-parter for the Birdcage. We had so much to talk about. We had so much fun. This is probably my favorite episode that we've done so far. Really hope you enjoy it. Be aware that about 20 minutes in, something technically happens with our camera, me and my guest, and it gets a little choppy, and it stays choppy. I apologize. It's not laziness on my part. I actually spent hours trying to fix it. But just be aware, I know it's choppy, and we'll try to make sure that doesn't happen again. But cool, so this is part one, and watch the next one to see part two.
I will set the zeitgeist straight.
There's a very specific part of my spinal column that tingles like a rattlesnake when I'm watching a good movie.
This sounds like a transcript of your film conversation with buddies at a party once the edible kicks in. Coen Brothers' latest is a big let-down scheme.
I hate you for making me hear that.
I need a brain, I need a heart, I need courage, I need a refund. Like, what are you talking about? Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast that's heart/pelvis. Off the mark. My name.
I want to know what Mick is already
I'm doing
laughing
the intro.
at.
I'm doing. You got it.
But
Nobody talks while I'm doing the intro.
Why is Mick already
I
laughing?
just enjoyed the half-hearted commitment to the bit. I just loved
come on.
the bit.
He's going along with it.
Well, but I'm just saying, Mick, he didn't earn that laugh.
I had so much. I was like,
Nervous?
it's just one of those things where you just like watching your friends succeed. Like I was just like land this plane, buddy.
I
was
had
just
better jokes.
That wasn't him
The
succeeding.
jokes get better.
It wasn't even a setup yet.
I was just enjoying it. I was just
Okay,
enjoying.
everybody be quiet. I don't even want laughs now. I just want to get through these jokes. I will mute you. I can mute you.
Okay, see, that was funny.
Welcome to the podcast that's heart/pelvis off the mark. I'm your cultural attaché to Greece. Wait, is it Columbo or Columbo? See? Told you the jokes get. She's laughing.
That was pretty
now.
good. That was pretty good.
I don't
I was
know
gonna
what
go with- I was gonna
podcast
go
I'm
with,
on until I hear my
Dave, you
name
ate
pronounced.
So and so. How about those dolphins? I'm Mick Andrews.
No, hold on. With my co-host, Fairy Dust. Mick Andrews, and if it weren't for the Pirin tablets, she wouldn't know if she could go on. Actor, comedian, our co-host for the night, my amazing wife, Laura. Hi, everybody.
Yay!
Boy,
I love you very much.
we had a fight on a podcast.
We
How about that?
did.
Sweetie, not in front of the fans.
I was just so confused. Well, because it felt like, because there was a dynamic that I didn't feel like I understood, because like Mick was already laughing, and I was like, oh, are we pretending like we're starting a conversation? Is this how we always start things? Am I missing something?
She was confused that we had a rapport.
Yeah,
That through 19 episodes of this show,
That
we've
I just
somehow figured out-
enjoy watching you do the show.
Yeah.
And it threw her off. She felt threatened by it, is what it was.
It's not about
This
hitting.
wasn't threatening. I was confused.
It's not about hitting the ball. It's about the swing, you know. And you were just excited to watch the swing.
I just didn't know what the dynamic was.
Sure.
Excuse me, my name is Laura. I am autistic. I like to have a script and understanding as to, and I just was like, what joke did I miss? I was confused.
Well, if you're still listening, thank you. This fabulous podcast, we like to wince through the worst reviews of the greatest movies ever made. It's been a hell of a ride so far. The last time we had Laura on was when we did Fellowship of the Ring. Did you have fun when we did that one?
Yes, precious.
I thought that was so much fun because that was like that was the movie that was the biggest like event. It was a 3-movie huge thing. To hear reviewers at the time just go like, "Ooh, poor Peter Jackson." Like, oh no.
He got himself into a fickle mess.
How is he going to recover from this? Like,
Former director Peter Jackson. After that didn't pan out. It was a lot of fun, but we've had a lot of fun these last couple of months working on this show. And today, what movie are we doing today, Mick? If you could tell by the things that we teased at the beginning, we love you. You are our best friend already. But if you didn't quite know from those little teases, what's the movie?
If you couldn't catch our very subtle references, we are doing The Birdcage. Yay! 1996 comedy based on the French play La Cage aux Folles by starring Robin Williams, Nathan Lane, Gene Hackman, Diane
he's
Wiest.
very
It's just
good.
Who's who.
Yeah.
It really is. Oh, you did Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria. I'm sorry. Yeah. Dan Futterman and pre-Abby McBeal, Callista Flockhart.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. So what can I know? Like, here's the thing: every time we do an episode, I'm like, "This is my top 5," and it's I get that. We named our dog Starina
Yeah.
The incomparable Starina.
because we just want to be reminded of the Birdcage every time we look at her
every
stupid
day.
face.
I mean, I have to, like, for me, Birdcage is arguably my favorite movie. It's probably my favorite It's certainly my favorite comedy. That definitely. And I would argue the Birdcage is top 5 best comedies filmed of all time.
And I can tell how much I love it because of how angry I get when people don't get Birdcage references. When we tell people our dog's name and they're like, "Oh, what is that?" And I'm like, "You ever seen the Birdcage?" And they're like, "No."
Like, oh, it's been on my list.
Which is, it's completely rational to have not seen a movie, but I'm just kind of like, whoop, whoop,
Yeah. How
whoop,
dare
whoop.
you?
Well,
Yeah.
it's the same thing of like not also seeing Airplane. It's
Right.
like how is that not you have you not seen Star Wars?
Yeah.
You
And-
don't
And everybody hates the, "Oh, but you gotta."
No,
Oh,
but you have
But you
to.
actually have to. Like,
and then I start listing off the cast list and then you see people go, "Oh, that's like a really good."
Oh,
I'm like,
they were
I
all
know.
in this movie?
yeah, but
It's
that
like-
makes me even
yeah.
angrier because it's like, yes. Yeah.
Go save yourself and
Right.
go watch it now. Cancel all of your plans. Screw your friends. The outside sucks.
Yeah.
Birdcage is better.
Birdcage is where you should be at all times.
Like looking at the VHS at Blockbuster Video on the back, it just says the outside sucks, the Birdcage is better. Honey, I think we should rent it.
Yeah, that's the best review I've ever heard. Yeah. Just live your life birdcage to birdcage. That's how I measure time. Yeah, this was not I didn't name my dog after this movie.
There's always time to fix it.
That's been off the mark. Thank you so much for
because I know you guys. I did walk out of it going like Agador Spartacus is a phenomenal dog name.
Yeah.
And since Serena's already taken.
yeah.
Yeah, I will say like the last time I watched it once when like way back when I was maybe like 10 or 12. And then the only times I ever saw it again after that was in bits and pieces on cable. And I'm so glad we're doing this because it was an excuse for me to rewatch it. And holy shit, what an amazing movie. It's so fantastic. I forgot how fun it was. I forgot how tough it was too. I mean, maybe as a kid a lot of that stuff went over my head, but it's just emotionally like a powerful movie too. You feel for these guys throughout the movie. But hilarious throughout. And I remembered it as a Robin Williams movie, and now I think of it as a Nathan Lane movie, having like rewatched it as an adult.
Robin Williams is the straight man.
Yeah.
Then I find that to be like the most hysterical part of it is he's the straight man in this. Nathan Lane is the Costello. And when you think of Robin Williams as like arguably the greatest comedic actor of all time, now because of his phenomenal comedic timing, he's able to make those straight man moments just sing in the same way as Abbott did. But that's always like, that kind of tells you the caliber of the cast, but it's also the different comedy that's all there because you have like Robin Williams, Hank Azaria doing absolute slapstick, but then you have like Gene Hackman coming in and doing this Christopher Guest subtle
Yeah. It's
comedy.
it's bone dry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you asked me like I would say when I was a kid, who's the funniest person? I would say, oh my God, Hank Azaria was the funniest. Nathan Lane was the funniest. But the foliage monologue as an adult is one of the funniest
so
fucking
funny.
things.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life is in the middle of the foliage monologue. There is just a long shot on Robin Williams, and he starts to fall asleep.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
the fighting
and
the
it's so
sleep
subtle,
thing.
but it's very small, and it's like he catches the moment when he realizes like, oh, he's done. Yep, no, you're right.
It's
What
so funny.
But also, just to add to it, Diane's performance during that, she doesn't say a word. She just stares at him with just this awe and this reverence, and it is so like she doesn't break for 1 second.
Yeah.
So like kudos to her because she 100% is framing, like she's also helping that joke like sing, and it's just top to bottom.
It's
brilliance.
also just from a writing standpoint, because this is an adapted French play, right? It's originally set in Saint-Tropez. That foliage scene is so it's a obvious adaptation. They had to change it to make it American, right? To choose the changing of the leaves in Ohio as the subject of what he rambles about is just so fucking genius. It's so hilarious to me.
Yeah.
That's like and it's so true to that character of like, as a senator in the 90s, like your state had to be the best at everything. You can't even just admit like maybe the leaf changing is nicer in another fucking climate, like. Yeah. But like he's like, well, I think the leaves in Ohio are no slouch. I'm like, oh God. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest strengths of the movie, and it's I figured out what my sensibility is in terms of humor. It's understated moments in slapsticky like worlds. Anytime something is like underplayed in a world where like your senses are heightened because you're expecting a lot. There's so many moments in the Birdcage where it's a good kind of whiplash where you go from this high energy pitter patter pitter patter pitter patter pitter to just, if you're looking at Robin Williams, you'll see him go like, well, I don't have the palimony agreement with me now, but like, just underselling it. Like when there's just a million moments like that, and to your point with him being the straight man, we just did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, where it's Jim Carrey as the straight man to Kate Winslet's goofball. Like if you said we're going to do the Birdcage and you read the script and you're like, and we're going to cast Robin Williams, you'd be like, oh wow, that'll be a great Albert. And you're like, no, we're going to cast him as Armand. It's like, oh wow.
Well, it's funny you say that. Fun fact, Robin Williams was originally cast as Albert.
Oh wow.
Really? Okay.
Yes. But he had just finished Mrs. Doubtfire. Not that he had a problem, obviously didn't have a problem playing gay. He had a problem doing another movie back to back of playing drag. So
okay. Well, yeah, that would make sense of like essentially
Steve Martin was actually cast as Armand originally.
And
he had to back out for another movie. I
would have loved to have seen Steve Martin's performance of Armand.
Yeah.
I would too, but then you don't get Nathan Lane. It's like a sliding tile puzzle. Like you can't get all three.
No,
I want two Alberts and one Armand.
I want to see that movie. I want to see Robin Williams playing Albert, and I want to see Steve Martin playing Armand. Like I just would love to see that version.
Yeah.
You know what I want? I want to build the interdimensional time travel machine and go with my copy of the Birdcage and go to the universe where it's Robin Williams and Steve Martin and just give them ours and let them like trade
so we could see
just so we can watch it.
Just
In
so
the
we
same
can
way,
watch. Just a cultural exchange between dimensions.
Yeah.
In the same way, I would love to have seen John Belushi's performance as Venkman. Like, I just would have loved to have seen it. Even though I do think Bill Murray was absolutely the right casting choice, I still would have loved to have seen Belushi's. I still think that Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, absolutely the right choice, but I would, because I don't think that I've ever seen a character, I don't think we've ever seen Steve Martin play a character like Armand. I think that would be very different for him.
God, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I
think it's interesting though your reactions to this, because we'll get into it as we read the reviews. But the beauty of movie plays is whatever you want to call them, movies based on stage plays, is that you guys hit on the head of something that will come up as a theme, but there are some people who are like, I'd just love to watch the exact same thing identically, but with different people in it, just to see how they do it. And then apparently I learned doing this review that there are people who take the view of like, well, it's already been done, so why are we doing it again? What's the point? Like,
right. So okay, all right.
Now,
Well, okay, Hollywood. No more adaptations.
Yeah, it's
you
a little
got it.
confusing.
Like, do you want to do a couple of years of no adaptations? I'd love to see it. Like, you first, Hollywood. Like,
now, I will say though, I very much enjoyed watching the musical La Cage aux Folles, and because I saw that with Kelsey Grammer as Armand and Douglas Hodge as Albert. And it was, I will say, Douglas Hodge's performance as Albert was, we all love Nathan Lane. This was probably one of the greatest performances I've ever seen on Broadway. Hands down, the song I Am What I Am was, I couldn't move. It was so brilliant. And Kelsey Grammer did a good Armand. He did a very good job, but it was like next to Douglas Hodge was just like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
Sure, he's crushing. Yeah.
You just are not winning this conversation. That sucks. Sorry, dude. I think Douglas Hodge actually won the Tony for it.
We don't have to do what we did with Big Lebowski, but does everybody have like a top 3 lines from the movie that are their favorite?
You guys probably could do this all day, but I off the top of my head, my favorite scene that I've seen in any movie that I've seen in quite a while now. It's shot up on just the blocking of it is so perfect. Is Robin Williams and Diane Weiss playing I Could Have Danced All Night on the piano, and as it pulls back, Robin Williams says, you have a lovely voice, and just as he finishes saying it, Nathan Lane, I could have said and just screams into frame from the side. I watched it 10 times in a row. It's so funny to me. It's so funny. That is hands down my favorite shot in the movie.
This is hell, and there's a crucifix in it. Because we don't see, like, that's a great directing choice too, because we just see him staring. We don't see, we saw it earlier, but like yeah.
I have to, for me, the best scene is our first introduction to both watching Albert and Armand's relationship in that first scene, because you have the Pure and Tabit line, you have the I made you short line. I also love it. Because if anybody wants to know what Laura and Dave's dynamic is, it is that scene. I am 100% Albert in that scene every single day, and Dave is 100% I made you short. Like,
and let's be honest. Every day I get closer and closer to just doing the mustache and dressing like Armand,
just own it,
and just walking around the house.
It's especially with Starina. I mean, that's. I feel like that is, especially like if I ever have like a bad show or something, or like one of my videos doesn't like pick up, I just completely turn into Albert. So I love that scene. But that is very much our dynamic.
But yeah, 100%. My absolute probably favorite line in movie history is you're afraid of my Guatemalaness, my natural heat. And he just does not look up from his newspaper and just goes, oh yeah, I'm afraid of your heat. It's just it's just the greatest delivery in the history of movies.
But I will say, mirroring that, I think that there's 2 of the sweetest scenes ever filmed in this movie as well, when we have the palimony agreement where like they essentially get as married as you could at that time.
Yeah. Right.
And that was so I like that scene. Like, the older I get, the more I cry at that scene, watching it and watching love in such a very real way. I feel like that is just, it's one of the most heartfelt, touching scenes. But I also love the scene when Val comes home and he's asleep in his bed, and Albert comes in and literally picks up his clothes, scruff, sees his hair, and it's just like, it's such an amazing little scene to show how much Albert loves being a parent and loves Val, and is just, and I think like having those like those sweet heartfelt scenes really make next to the really high comedic scenes, makes the funnier even funny, but makes those heartfelt scenes really even drop more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. 100%. I 100% agree. Those are beautiful scenes. And it's just a testament to like who they cast for these things that you get that scene. You also get the like Twyla. You get like
exactly.
it's so much going on in this. Also, Nathan Lane has his own like kind of, even for being for Albert being so over the top, the try more gum line is
God, it's such a good line.
So dry and sarcastic.
Just because you're 22 and hung doesn't mean you Albert, let me do this. You're the director.
Yeah, or you're wasting your gum is such as the gum chewing helps me.
It's so good.
It's so funny. So little bit of history here, because I think before we get into the reviews themselves, I think it's important to kind of contextualize this. And just to give you an idea of where we're at historically in this at this point in time. The movie comes out in 1996. That is it, for if people are too young watching to know, the absolute peak of Robin Williams' power. The guy couldn't miss at this point in time. He gets discovered as a stand-up around 76. He's already starring in Mork and Mindy by 1978. By 1980, he's had his first lead role in a movie, 2 years after getting his TV show. By 87, just 10 years after getting discovered as a stand-up, he's nominated for Best Actor at the Academy Awards. Over the next 5 years, he'll get nominated again 3 times. He stars in this order. He stars in the number 4 movie of 1987, the number 5 movie of 1989, the number 4 movie of 1991, the number 1 movie of 1992, and the number 2 movie of 1993, which would have been the number 1 movie if it didn't come out the same year as the highest grossing movie of all time at that time. He was just a hit machine coming into the Birdcage in 1996, which ends up being number 7 on the year, behind.
Good. I was so curious because it's like it deserves.
No, it was
good.
Financially a hit. If raw numbers is what you're looking at, it did fine. It came in behind Independence Day, Twister, Mission Impossible, The Rock, The Nutty Professor, and Ransom. All
that's good company.
Arguably, yeah, it's one of those kind of great years. And so, but Robin Williams is, again, I could maybe because of this kind of prowess, I always saw this as a Robin Williams movie. Gene Hackman is also at the peak of his powers here. He's fresh off of Crimson Tide, Get Shorty. He's crushing it, having kind of obviously a huge career before it, but like he's now doing blockbuster films. Diane Wiest, obviously a legend. She has won 2 Academy Awards herself. And this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is Nathan Lane's second Hollywood movie. He was a Broadway stage actor, so well regarded there, obviously, but not a mainstream or like household name for film. The only other movie that he has, big movie I think that he had before this that I saw was Timon in Lion King. That was his first kind of breakout thing, if I'm not mistaken. But so all-star cast. Callista Flockhart goes on, obviously, to Ally McBeal. Dan Futterman, very interestingly, I'm a fan of Dan Futterman, but not for his acting. Dan Futterman is nominated for 2 Academy Awards for screenplays, having written Foxcatcher and Capote.
Oh, wow.
I will say, if I have to give one critique over this movie, it's how they wrote Callista, how they wrote those 2, those Barbie and Val's character. I think if the movie was written now, there would be much more care in writing those characters, because I feel like they were just sort of a means to an end, but they didn't actually write these characters with depth and personality. And I felt like they sort of just did the best they could with what they were given.
I'm gonna use my crystal ball because it is a very like it is a little cringy now to watch a movie that's all about like, hey, make yourself normal. We need to make this place respectable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my crystal ball and guess in 1996. Movie reviewers weren't so progressive as to call that out. I have a feeling their criticisms are going to be a little bit more. Yeah,
I don't think you're going to see any of that. It is without a doubt my one criticism of this movie is I cannot stand. I consider the villain of this movie to not be Gene Hackman. It's the son. It's 100% the son.
And it really is like kind of a directorial thing. There's a couple of lines. Like there is a moment in the Pierce the Toast scene when Armand straight up tells Albert, this is not about you. This is about some asshole senator. This is about her parents being awful. And it's like such like a small line that they just kind of gloss over. And if they had just like pumped that up a little bit and pulled back a little bit on Val going like, we have to make this place respectable. Like all of my criticisms would have been like, we're good, we're fine.
Yeah. I think also it's like, okay, but if we also wanted to, I would say if we wanted to play in the area of like Val wanted more of a quote unquote like normal family, then it's like, then dig more into that, like how he got there, what happened in his childhood, what bully made fun of him that made him kind of self-conscious or something, and then and then a little bit more of him finding and realizing, fuck the noise, my family is awesome, I stand by my family. Like I just would have loved to have seen a little bit more work, or at least in whatever dimension that was.
Or at least for him to like hear the senator say the homophobic stuff he does at the dinner table and be like, hey man, like, fuck you. Like,
so
you don't know what you're talking about. Like,
I think one of the reasons that you nailed it, Mick, when you said that like Val is the villain, it's because you never really see Senator Keeley hurt Armand and Albert. You see Val hurt Armand and Albert.
Yeah.
I think it's a good testament to how good the movie is that it's still one of the greatest movies ever made.
I still love it, yeah.
The movie could spit in my face and I'd still say it's perfect, okay?
But I just I just think that needs to be mentioned.
It can stand on my fucking neck.
Everything we're talking about is true, but the fact that that doesn't destroy the movie is a testament to how good the rest of the movie is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a phenomenal movie.
It's phenomenal.
I loved it. You will see in these reviews that what I think are legitimate criticisms are just not. That's not where these are coming from. Let's hop into it.
We're gonna get so mad.
Oh no. No. Oh no, Dave is already emotionally preparing.
I
want you to know, Dave, that every review is also a like it will personally, like, this is a review against our dog as well.
Yes. Don't tell me that. Come on.
Okay. I'm trying to make sure I use the right ones, because believe it or not, there were a few.
Ew.
Yeah.
I will accept one at most.
All right, this one's good. This is called "La Cage Wasn't Broken. Birdcage Doesn't Fix It." From March 1996. This is the San Francisco Gate. Wondering why Mike Nichols felt the need to remake La Cage aux Folles, the 1978 French film classic about a Saint-Tropez drag queen and his long-suffering male lover? After witnessing The Birdcage, a glossy miscalculation with Nathan Lane and Robin Williams, you'll wonder even more. The Birdcage, which opens today at Bay Area theaters, makes you want to stand up and ask, why bother?
That's exactly what I thought. Just like I was yawning throughout all of The Birdcage. Yeah.
It was like a background noise movie.
Yeah. It's something just to have on.
Yeah, it's not saying anything. Nichols doesn't enlarge upon the original film, and the script, written by his former comedy partner Elaine May, merely recycles the same dated gimmick. Gay couple plays straight for their son's prospective in-laws, and relocates it from the French Riviera to Miami's South Beach.
Okay, I mentioned it earlier, but I love this, like, we don't need another adaptation. That's all Hollywood is.
Yeah.
That's
It's also
all Hollywood is.
It's also what plays are. It is a movie adaptation of a play.
Right.
Like, fucking Phantom of the Opera was on Broadway for 60 years. Like, it's like... it's done and redone because it feels fresh when someone else does it.
And what better way to adapt something where it's not like you're taking a movie that we made 20 years ago and remaking the movie. If there's an audience that hasn't seen this French play, you know, like, why don't we put the biggest movie star in the world in a comedy that will let more people and
Are you okay, honey?
I'm good. I don't think I'm going to have anything else to say this whole time.
You no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody knows Williams is at his best when he's unhinged and cuckoo. So already you've got a problem here. This was about Williams plays the more sedate, responsible.
Yeah,
partner.
no, he does an awful job. He does
So
a
already
terrible
you've got a
Awful.
problem.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Subdued isn't a natural mode for him.
Of course it is.
This is, by the way, this is like post Dead Poets. This is post.
Yeah. I was about to say,
Yeah.
where is this in terms of like what dreams may come?
It's a little bit before that.
No,
I think that was late.
He's already been, at this point, I believe he's already been nominated for 3 Best Actor Academy Awards.
Yeah, he's he didn't look like Popeye in this movie. Like, what are you talking
He
about?
didn't punch an octopus.
I
damn
don't
it.
know. I don't know what you need to do to show more range than he does. But,
I know.
like how this guy goes. No, that's one of the zany actors. I
Yeah,
wanted a normal guy for this role.
Oh my goodness.
But that's his knock on Williams here. All right. Still, though he's miscast, Williams at least attempts a rounded performance and hits the right emotional chords in his scenes with Val, the 20-year-old son he begat during a drunken evening with a lady chum. I feel gross for having read that out loud.
Oh, that was dirty.
I don't know. I've never heard those words next to each other before, and I want my money back on
It
that.
always blows my mind how many of these, because I know there's going to be some criticism of the writing when like reviewers are like, the writing wasn't very good. I dare say, Lady like they're just, they can't string a sentence together at all, and they're
Yeah.
criticizing the writing of the movie.
Yeah, 100%. Also, the lady chum in this movie, I think, kind of neglected to mention is the amazing Christine Baranski, who
Phenomenal.
also
Yes,
crushes it
never-
in this.
Though she's not exactly maternal.
Goes on to get nominated, like, I think, over a dozen times for Emmys. Like, everybody loves Christine
And,
Oh,
Baranski.
yeah.
and has not aged a day. I
No.
mean,
Yeah, that
looks
is
exactly
immortal.
the same.
Immortal.
She is immortal.
Christine Baranski. I don't know what demon she made a pact with in order to look as good as she does. But,
But
yeah.
it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Good for her.
She got her money's worth.
Yeah. Who do we
okay.
need to sacrifice to? My goodness.
There's a warmth to those scenes, the scenes between Val and Armand. But warmth is a quality that Williams' co-star, Lane, never attempts.
What?
What?
All right.
Nathan Lane.
Mick, if you need to go use the bathroom or something, we're just going to need a minute.
I'll go to the bathroom.
Literally, the walking radiator of warmth. The guy
See, I knew it was better for me to read these to you guys than the other way around.
The
I knew this
guy-
was going to be better.
he literally is just a walking space heater.
Yeah. He's nothing.
You
he's
could say
nothing but like paternal
Many
energy.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, here's the thing: if you don't like his style, like, okay, I can disagree. You're wrong, but like, I can sort of understand that. But to say that Nathan Lane was cold,
no, the only way that works is that like in the movie theater, you're constantly like every time Nathan Lane has a moment that's not like a 10, you're like looking down around your seat.
Excuse
like,
me, what moments are not a 10?
But like, but I mean in terms of like energy.
No,
like
this person's on drugs.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all I can come up. You are on drugs. And I'm now suddenly like a 90s mom. Like, where are your children?
I like the moments where you realize, oh, like, and I know we always hit them with these reviewers, but like the line that makes me go, oh, you have horrible judgment as a reviewer. Got it. Okay. Yeah, now I don't need to really take anything seriously.
I don't know. I've watched, like, you watch movies with a lot of different people, and I think I have found that I now, having like made it to however old I am, there are certain people I want to watch movies with, and other people I know I'm never going to want to watch a movie with. Like, there are certain people who just don't watch movies the way I watch movies, and you just wonder, like, what were you seeing when I was watching that movie?
Yeah.
Like, what did you, what came across to you? This character is it's just pure emotion. It's just, everything is emotion turned up to 10. The only reason he doesn't just immediately leave the entire situation is because he loves Val so much that he wants to be a part of this process. And he has every fucking right to be. Anyway, sorry.
Well, what about
sorry.
when the Schnecken-Becken scene, when he's walking through town and they show that he has like a personal relationship?
Yeah, he knows every single person on the street,
the guy
and they all love him too. Like,
and it's literally just one of our main characters walking through town, and it's literally like literally a stage play. It's just like, oh, hey, how you doing?
And the guy's like holding a lobster. It's it's the opening to Beauty and the Beast. It's just like...
And it's just like there's no all right, yep,
yeah. And he's adorable in that scene. He's
so
he lights up the room when he walks into the bakery, and like, oh god, it's great.
My little piglet.
To recap, Robin Williams can't play straight and subtle, and Nathan Lane has no warmth.
Yeah.
Nathan Lane has no warmth. I would also quibble with there's a warmth to the scenes between Armand and Val. Val is, we've talked about it already, but
yeah,
he's a bit of an icicle.
Pretty cold to his dad. Like, there are scenes where okay, just, I know that we've already talked about this, but I just need to say Armand says the correct answer like 30 minutes into the movie, where he goes, I've spent 20 years figuring out who I was, and I'm not going to change who I am because some fucking senator that I don't even know doesn't like me. Fuck that guy. And he leaves the room, and like, after this, like, very raw kind of statement to his son, being like, how dare you even suggest this? Val, like, lets him go. Like, I don't know. I would feel some sort of like, Dad, okay, like, I get it. Like, when he finally agrees to do it, and he says the most heartbreaking thing I can ever imagine a father saying, which is, Val, don't talk to me for a while. Yeah.
God. And Val's
yeah.
just kind of like, ooh, okay. And it's like, none of that is warm.
Dude,
none of that.
Your dad's heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're killing your dad. And he's just kind of like, well, great. He's on board. Like,
awesome.
We got this. Like,
yeah.
I got what I came for.
Yeah. Val needed a little bit more, needed a couple more drafts of his character.
Yeah.
I mean, how bad is this critic's relationship with his dad if that was a warm relationship between father and son?
Okay. Yeah. Lane never attempts warmth. Lane is a stage veteran, and his performance, consequently, is big, brassy, and annoying.
Supposed to be.
As if he were playing to the folks in the top balcony. He's a clown, but he lacks the essential quality of all great clowns: pathos and a beating heart beneath the mask.
All right, so he left halfway through the movie, right?
No. He left 10 seconds in.
He left 10 seconds in. I mean, he didn't see the Palimony monologue duet scene.
He didn't see the picking up the clothes. He didn't see...
That's why I'm packing light.
Yeah,
with the toothbrush.
You're breaking my heart. Yeah.
He didn't see the cafe scene where they're trying to practice for Val.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. When Nathan Lane says smear,
Smear.
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
When Robin Williams is going, you don't dab it, you smear it, and Nathan Lane goes smear.
And remember, I really do. I stand by this. I live by this. You can always get more toast. There's always more toast.
Hey, yeah, you're right. That's so great. And with the pinky up every. Okay. In the original French version, Michel Serrault played Albin. In the original version, Michel Serrault played Albin with mincing gestures and a shrill, hysterical voice, but gave a sense of a real person beneath all that drama queen fuss. Lane never becomes real. Even when he weeps at the news of his stepson getting married, my baby, he looks like a cartoon auntie.
Okay, I'm getting some red flags of homophobia right now. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm feeling a little bit right now.
Do you think?
Yeah.
You think maybe?
I think that's what we're shaking with here. I think we're dealing. We're dealing with somebody who has some stupid senator views.
I mean, yeah, this is literally, I just see Senator Keeley going like, and another thing.
Yeah, that's the vibe I get.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to be as blunt as saying, like, this person probably doesn't go to the kind of club that,
This person doesn't go out.
This person doesn't go out,
This person doesn't go out and they don't have fun. That is all I can say.
I mean, I understand, like being
I'm
a little...
so upset I'm untangling the cord right
You're
now.
Pulling it.
I'm fixing the cord because this person
clean
is so...
something right now.
I need to clean something, okay?
I understand the
Where's
the
my
idea,
Pirin tablets?
the idea that, like, you don't like how different they are. It's like they're kind of in a different movie, and I can vaguely see that, like, that Nathan Lane is a very different character than Robin Williams' character. I think that 9 people out of 10 would watch that and go, I know people like that. I know people who have that dynamic.
Yeah.
I know, I've seen it. Like, it's just a...
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. I don't know. Do what you want.
This is an interesting choice for you to say this. You could have just asked me to say it.
No, but these are real people, and this is not a broad. Like, we've all seen movies where, like, characters are like, "Oh man, leave it on the stage, bro." Like, this is not one of those movies. 5 seconds in, there's more heart, more tenacity, more sincerity than, like, any movie. Like, the beginning scene between Albert and Armand when they're fighting has like real genuine moments. He's looking in the mirror powdering, and Armand is behind him.
I didn't have time to wax. I want that powder puff, by the way.
I gotta get that for you.
My birthday is coming up, and if
you want the powder puff,
and then I will make a deal with you. You get me that, and then every time we fight, I promise I'll just do that
while shaving your chest.
While shaving my chest. I mean, I've got some serious ones. So.
But oh my god! But there's that's for the special edition. Those are the outtakes. There is so much depth to even just that first scene that tells you you're about to watch something that is bigger than just a broad moment. There's going to be subtle moments where like. Very small things are happening, and then we're going to cut to Hank Azaria singing along to Gloria Estefan. Like,
in an orange thong.
Yeah, like all of these things are going to happen.
By the way, can we have a
forth.
moment to... Hank Azaria's butt in that movie is phenomenal.
I mean, his everything is
phenomenal. But I think it needs a credit of its own.
Okay, sure. Hank Azaria's butt.
Wonderful. I love your work.
Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
Mm-hmm. Acting honors go instead to Gene Hackman, who plays the ultra-conservative U.S. senator whose daughter is
Oh, he
newly
likes Gene
engaged to her
Hackman?
son.
No way. I didn't see that coming at all.
Who not only is a great actor, but I love what his character represents.
feel
He's
like
making
he-
some good points in this movie.
Really the hero of the movie, if we're
Get him
thinking
some
about it.
candy.
All the adversity that the senator character faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. When Hackman and his wife Diane Wiest accept a Meet the Relatives dinner invitation at Val's behest, Albert and Armand go to work de-homosexualizing their apartment.
Oh, I did not like that sentence.
I don't.
I mean, there's a lot of ways you could have.
You could
there's
have
also
said
missing plot elements. Like the only reason they do that is that like the people
Yeah.
around them are
Gene
all proven to
Hackman-
be hypocrites. Like
Gene Hackman is dragged to a dinner that he didn't want to go to.
He flees his own home in order to go there.
Yeah.
because of the sex scandal of his like political partner.
His political partner, who is in a sex scandal, which I always thought it was interesting that they say that he's with an underage black prostitute, as if all three of those are equally wrong. You know what I mean? It's gross. It's a fucking gross
yeah.
thing, and yeah, the whole reason that he has to flee his home is because
Of an awful thing.
yeah, it was such an awful thing, and it turns out that everyone around him is a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And they're all awful and they're terrible. And yeah, no, it's
They do not actually, in fact, really like. I think accept a Meet the Relatives dinner invitation is a very generous characterization of what happens there.
While we're on the subject of
they
Gene
seek
Hackman,
asylum at their house is basically what happens.
While we're on the subject, I've always thought, once I hit my 30s, I noticed that I started acting a lot like Peter Falk at the end of Princess Bride when he stands up and he just goes like, okay.
Where he checks his all his
He's just checking, like he can't leave the house until he's like double and triple check. I am noticing that in my 40s, I've become Gene Hackman going through the candy dish going, oh, like not liking any of the candy in the dish, because we have like a nice.
I ate all the good ones.
Yeah,
already.
we have a good candy dish in our house, and every like Halloween it's like packed. But then probably about like end of November, early December, whatever's left is just like, oh, it's just.
yeah.
I literally do that every
Just
time.
good in plenties and dots. Ugh.
Yeah.
No. Okay. They homosexualize their apartment. The message of Lacage remains the same in the Birdcage. Be who you are and don't feel ashamed. And it's worth repeating. Too bad the Birdcage doesn't find a new way of framing it and delivers neither the laughs nor the heart of the original.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't laugh in the movie, so and you're right. They find no new way to frame it. Being in America in Miami
in the 90s. Yeah.
at a drag show. Yeah, it's just not. They find no new way to do it,
Yeah.
and not making it a musical.
Yeah, no, God for like let's make this French play accessible to Middle America.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, God, oof.
Nothing new said here. Nothing new
Nothing
is
new.
said here.
Yeah, nothing new is
And
said.
on top of that, it's not funny.
No, never once, never. I mean,
It's trying.
Hank Azaria, blah.
Yeah.
I've already said it. I'll say it again. Because this guy's on notice. He knows that it's a play. He of all people should know, like, the reason you enjoy seeing a play more than once is because you know that new people will bring a fresh take to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's exactly like I have not seen the French play. I have not seen the French movie version of La Cage aux Folles, but I can guarantee you that neither Robin Williams nor Nathan Lane are in that movie. And I watched this movie because I know they're in it and I want to watch their dynamic, their chemistry and their relationship. So, yeah, that's why you go see, it's like saying like, why does anybody bother doing, Othello? Like Olivier already did it. Like it's
Right.
you're not change like you didn't change the script, right? So it's already been done. It's like, no, and listen, maybe that's a false equivalency comparing the Birdcage to Shakespeare, but
No, I feel right about that. I feel good about it.
I have a
But
feeling,
he's-
yeah, I'm in good company for that.
In
But-
addition, he's also like this is 1996. He lives in a world where there's like remakes and adaptations aplenty in the movie industry. Like his anger seems to be like, but we've seen it before.
It's
I
already been
don't
done.
understand.
Also, I mean, culturally, what was going on in the 90s was there was a big shift in putting more of the queer community, specifically, I would say a lot of gay couples on screen, and it made culturally a huge difference. I mean, the cultural difference that like Will and Grace made, that the original Fab Five with Queer Eye made. I think that did that come out late 90s or
I
early
think
2000s?
late 90s, early 2000s.
I mean,
yeah.
and then Birdcage as well, and there were a lot more that really made a huge difference culturally. And I would consider Birdcage as part of that zeitgeist of importance of really being able to help usher in a new era of acceptance, which did eventually get us to legalize, which led us to like the Marriage Equality Act.
Well, what whiplash to go from to this level of representation in a movie where like there's a drag show at the beginning and you watch the drag show.
Yeah.
You watch them come off stage and like change and get into drag for the next number.
Yeah, I loved that part.
I love that part.
I love that
but
so
like
much.
compared to like what was probably happening around the same time, like, you know, where it's like gay best friend on the sitcom comes in and goes, honey, and it's just like that level of representation compared to what the Birdcage was, huge change. Huge, like immeasurable. Like the fact that they're not a punchline, they are our heroes.
Yeah.
Is just wonderful.
And they're so well rounded and
Yeah.
deep and loving and beautiful, and you want to be in their family. Like that's what you leave
Yeah.
the movie. You want to be in their family.